You demanded answers by today. Do you think you're going to get some answers today?
Well, thank you for having me on. I certainly hope that we'll get the answers. Not sure what ERCOT will do right away. I was on a phone call just recently where we had some explanations given as to why we're suffering some of these dire circumstances in Texas. As you well know, roads have been closed. We have blackouts, rolling blackouts that were supposed to last hours that are now lasting days. We have persons in nursing homes, senior facilities that are in need of electricity. I just got a call recently from a prison wherein they're asking for help. They need water. So there are emergencies, and we do need answers. And I'm proud to be a part of the letter. Mr. Castro is the actual author of the letter, and I'm proud to co-sponsor the letter with him.
Now, we've seen some data here at Bloomberg that suggests that things may not be getting all that much better in terms of the amount of power being produced. If anything, it might have gone back a little bit over the last 24 hours. One of the questions you ask of ERCOT in your letter, Mr. Castro does, that you signed on to, is what's Plan B? Do you have any sense whether there is a Plan B?
I do not get a sense that there is a Plan B. I get a sense that the management of the flow of electricity across the grid has become a challenge. And because there is not nearly enough, there will have to be these blackouts. And ordinarily, we would, in a state the size of Texas, be able to move our electrical power from one part of the state that's not being impacted adversely to another part that is. But we have the entire state that is adversely impacted. And when you have a state and a region with the same problem, it's difficult to do things other than what's being done. But the question is, how prepared were we for this eventuality? There seems to be a need that has not been properly diagnosed. And we need to get to the bottom of what should have been done and why it was not done, and who was responsible for getting it done.
It gives us a sense in your district. You mentioned some of the really inconvenience and even more than that, some danger being experienced by people down there. Are there things that you can do or the government can do to try to alleviate some of the problems, whether it's heat or power or water?
Well, there are things that we can do, but they still have, there's still an adverse impact being felt by people. For example, we can have these rolling blackouts, but you still have someone who will be without power. We have now water having to be boiled in Houston and in Fort Bend County, which is a part of my district as well. We have these stories from people who will leave home to go to one hotel, and they discover that the power is out at the hotel. So you go to another hotel, the power's out at that hotel. Go to a relative's home, the power is out at the relative's home. Literally, that has happened to a person that I'm familiar with. So the challenges are great, and the outlook is not good as long as the weather stays within this freezing range. Our hope is that we'll get better weather, which means that we'll get some different results.
Do you have any sense of the role, if any, that the renewable energy area played in this? Because we've heard from some people who say part of the problem is you went too fast to wind and solar.
I've heard this as well, and I respect the person, one of the persons who said this. I consider the person an honorable person. And the allegation is that with the wind, you have the cold such that it impacts the turning of the blades for the wind towers, literally frozen up. And you can't generate power unless those blades can turn. Well, I believe that you have to solve problems along the way. And this is a problem that has to be addressed. But it does not mean that we should step back now from what is our future. Our future is not in fossil fuels. It is a finite fuel source. We have to move to other forms of energy. It is of necessity that we will do it. And we need not allow a minor setback to be anything other than an opportunity for us to come back better.